Hello everyone, my name is Larseth and welcome back to Europa Universalis IV. Today I'm going to be doing a quick guide covering marches, mainly what they are, how you get them, what uses they have, what situations you would use them in, and which countries make the best marches in each of those situations. So first and foremost, you'll notice I've started as Poland. This is because Poland is the only country with which you can use a march if you do not have the Art of War DLC, because marches were introduced with the Art of War DLC. So, as you can see, Poland starts off with Moldavia as a march. Now, marches are created by turning a vassal, any old vassal, doesn't matter which, you can ask them to be a march. Some are better than others, obviously. But once you do so, you essentially make a trade. They no longer can be annexed until you remove their march status, which we'll get onto later. They have a minus 15% liberty desire, and they pay no taxes. The trade-off is that you get, as you could see, a significantly increased buffs to their military capabilities. So you get increased manpower, modifier and recovery speed, increased force limits, both land and naval, reduced fort maintenance, and increased fort defense. This obviously serves mainly countries which have military ideas. So, countries such as Brandenburg make absolutely brilliant marches because they have Prussian ideas, I believe, which are essentially entirely militarily focused. So they could be a battering ram in Europe if you want to turn them into your little march. Another similar example is Nepal, down here in northern India, which can also be used in a similar fashion. Marches can also be used to create borders in between you and your enemies. A good march up here can be used is Ryazan, which you can use when you're playing as Muscovy, Novgorod, or basically when you're forming Russia. Can be used as a barrier in between you and Lithuania, or any other countries which become scary in this area. I mean, you don't need them. You don't need to use them to create barriers, but sometimes it can help stave off wars. Other situations, this is one I do quite a lot when playing as the Ottomans, is I'll turn the Caucasus into one march, normally Circassia or Georgia. Depending on whether I'm planning on expanding north. Normally I don't, so I will create a march there, just because it can also handle some of the Orthodox land around here. And furthermore, marches can also help combat areas that have increased coring costs. So what's the point in me coring all of this and spending all of my precious juicy admin points when I could just turn it into a march and forget about it if I wasn't planning on expanding that way. So marches have their uses, although they're not as I mean, I don't tend to use them all that much. They're very sort of depends on your situation. A march is a pretty long-term sort of investment. Unless you have the diplomatic idea group filled out, when revoking a march, you'll take a 1 stability hit and a minus 200 relation. So if you want to revoke a march to then annex it as the vassal it would become, you're better off getting the diplomatic group, because that'll save you a lot of time, effort, and admin points. Previously, marches were limited by how big they could be. They had a 60 base tax limit, but that was removed a few patches ago. So now the only limit as to how big you want a march to be is how scared you particularly want to be of it. Having a nice big Brandenburg is all well and good, but if they turn around and decide that their overlord looks rather tasty, then you might be having a situation on your hands if they declare an independence war. But other than that, I think that's about the gist of marches. They're pretty cool addition to the game in the Art of War DLC, and I hope you found this interesting. If you did, please don't forget to like it and subscribe for more videos. And thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.